Hey guys, it's Arcade and I'm back with another video. Today we're gonna take a look at one of my subscribers' projects and we're gonna fix it. And I know I said I'm gonna make this video where I fix your projects. Well, this is not quite it. This is part of it. Let me just put down my headphones. This is part of that video, but in this one I wanna solely focus on one project from this subscriber and just go in depth on how to edit it, how to fix it. This is not a video made for that particular subscriber. This is for everyone because a lot of you make the same mistakes, and I thought, let me show you how I actually fix your projects in this one video where I won't make many cuts, so you can see everything sort of live, you know? So basically I'm gonna play the project as it is without any edits, and then I'm gonna start making the edits, so that way you can learn how to fix these problems that I'm going to be fixing, and hopefully I will make this track better. This one was submitted by DJ Neutral, that is his name, I think. So here's the track. Okay, then we got the build-up. So yeah, as you can hear, there's a lot to fix. One of the things I want to mention that is good about this is the arrangement. The structure of the track is pretty good. You got your intro, sort of a breakdown, and then the build up, then the drop. So I think the arrangement is good, and also the chord progressions and melodies. I'm not saying they are the best, but they are not bad either. The chords definitely make sense. That is a good chord progression, and the melodies, I mean, they are in the right key, in the right harmony, I guess. There could be some work done on the melodies, but they are not bad. But what's really lacking is the mix. So that's what I want to focus on the most. I muted this drum right away because it's not in the right BPM. So that sounds terrible there. So let's just delete that. But let's start from the top. That's what I usually do. So, and from the drop as well, because that's where most of the sounds are. So we can edit them right away. So first we got the piano, and I feel like the piano is a bit too low, like everything in this song is like sort of in the low frequencies, so we can just go to the piano and hold Control arrow up, which will put it octave up, so it's not low anymore. And also he has two pianos here, so let's put this one octave up as well. So that's the piano. For now, that works out pretty well. He has some sign tuning on it, but not sure if it's gonna be enough. Yeah, we can definitely sign tune it a bit more. And the kick is lacking as well. I'm gonna get to the kick, but in the whole drop, like, the drums are almost non-existent. Like, everything is just sort of mashed together. That's how it sounds, just mashed together. And nothing is standing out. Everything is just like a lot of noise. So the mix is definitely lacking a lot. Next we have these sounds. Which, what is that even? I mean, it sounds super white noisy. Like, it sounds like a lot of noise. And very little like frequencies that are nice to the ears, I suppose. So first let's take a look at these three sounds. And yeah, what I notice is there's a lot of effects, and I feel like, okay, this EQ definitely needs to go. And what is that? So yeah, I feel like this producer is obviously just experimenting and starting out, trying out new things, trying out plugins and what they do. But obviously, these just don't make any sense, these effects. Let's hear how it sounds without the effects. Okay, way nicer, fuller sound. So obviously this EQ is just wrong on so many levels. Like, why would you only want these frequencies to be in the song? That's just not gonna make a great sound. So right away we can pretty much delete all of the effects, I would say, and just put in our own. What he did right is delete the high frequencies, although he sort of deleted all the frequencies, but we can delete the high frequencies from this sound, and we can add through the limiter, which he had as well, and sidechain the sound. So select the kick, threshold lower, ratio, and that's fine. And then for the EQ, I mean, obviously this sound is a bit too harsh, so we can lower some of the frequencies and just preview it. Okay, that's not bad. I lowered a lot of the frequencies because I feel like this sound is just too harsh. But one of the things I hear is there's a lot of release on this sound. So after you press a note and stop pressing it, it still plays. What we can do is lower the release. And this one as well. Okay, now let's move on to this sound, which is also not good. And look at how many effects there are, but none of them really make any sense. I mean, we have some reverb, EQ, wave shaper, more EQ, multiband compressor. I mean, and then this again, which I don't know who taught him this trick where you delete most of the frequencies from a sound, but that's definitely not something you want to do, at least not for the like main chord sounds. So again, I feel like the sound is way better without the effects. So I'm just gonna delete the effects again. I mean, this sure looks like a professional mixer track, but in reality, it just doesn't make any sense. So you can just put in the EQ, lower the low frequencies. So I guess what I'm trying to say is less is more. And then just lower these. Just have it a little lighter sound. And then for the limiter, put it back on. And yeah, a little bit more sidechaining. So yeah, that's a little bit better right now. But we're gonna get back to it. Now let's take a look at the melody. Okay, I bet there will be a lot of effects on the melody. And of course there is. So let's hear it without the effects. That's actually way better, and that's a pretty good selection of sounds. It sounds pretty plucky, and I like that. But with the effects, it's like a pluck that wants to be a lead, but it is not. So yeah, I guess this producer was just experimenting, but there is really no need for that many effects. The effects won't make your track sound better. When you want to put in any effect, make sure you know the reason why you are putting that effect in. Not just to like change the sound somehow, but make sure you put in a new plugin, new effect with intent to do something with that sound. So let's just delete the effects again, and let's put in the EQ, delete the low frequencies because we don't need them for the pluck. We want them for the bass. And when lowering some of the EQ, you don't need to like lower it like this. If you feel like some of the frequencies are harsh, you can just lower that frequency. Like right there, that should do well. I want to put some reverb in there as well. And put back the limiter. And one of the things we can do also is put in a stereo shaper and choose the Stereoize 2 preset, which puts the mix of the sound like to the right and left speaker instead of like in the middle. I use it a lot, so yeah. Sounds pretty good. Let's hear it with the melodies. Okay, the melodies are still a bit too harsh, so maybe we just lower the volume. Oh. Okay, guess we don't, because there's some automation for that. But we can lower the volume here then. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot. Yeah, he has a free limiter on the whole master channel. And he has like halfway, which is really weird. So let's just get rid of that altogether. We don't need that, and it's way better when we mix without it. So I feel like these sounds don't need to be as loud. They are too harsh. But a good selection for the plug sounds. That's nice. Let's hear it now. Okay, I want to lower some of the frequencies here. Well, maybe we can pull back some of the frequencies on the piano. But honestly, let's lower some of them as well. And let's lower the lead as well. I would probably delete all these free sounds. Something like that. Okay, we're gonna come back to it later, but for now that's good. Now let's check out the bass. Okay, we have 3 bass sounds. And all of them are on the same channel, and that's right off the bat a bad move, because all of these are a sub bass, and you definitely don't want 3 sub bass sounds for a bass. Okay, so this one could be like a gritty bass instead. Same synth. Interesting choice. So yeah, let's just put it on a new channel. Let's delete the low frequencies from this bass. Oh yeah, it's So yeah, if you want to have multiple bass sounds, you want to make sure one of them is the sub bass, which has the low frequencies, and one of them is like a gritty bass, which has the high frequencies. You don't want to have 2 bass sounds with the low frequencies, because then they overlap and the mix gets muddy and stuff like that. So this is way better. This one, a bad selection of sounds, so we don't even need that. Let's delete it. And let's check the effects he has. Again, a lot of effects on the bass. Not necessary, I'm sure. Some of them are. Okay, so yeah, he has like this deep bass. Maybe we can bring back some of the low sub frequencies and just lower the volume. Okay, that's fine. And sidechain it a bit more. So by lowering the threshold, the sidechain like goes lower. So if it's all the way down, when the kick hits, this bass sound will be at 0, so you won't be able to hear it. This way it will be like super quiet, but not at 0, basically. So by lowering the threshold, the sidechaining will be more obvious. Maybe we can lower this sound. Something like that. Okay, now let's move on to this, which is a guitar loop, and let's take a look at the effects. Okay. So, okay, playing with the EQ there, we can bring back some of the high frequencies. I like them. The low frequencies can stay deleted, and we can just bring back some of the high frequencies, because I feel like that will sound pretty good. Maybe put in some reverb on it. So yeah, again, you listen to the sounds, you adjust them. You don't just adjust them without listening to them or whatever, just like randomly. Like, this is a lead, so I'm gonna boost these frequencies and stuff like that. You want to make sure to listen and adjust everything with intent, you know? So I heard that the bass was a bit too obvious, even in this sound, like in this frequency. So I pull it back, pull it here even more, so there is no bass at all. And that's just fine. Okay, now we have a white noise here, which is good. You want to have white noise in the drop usually. Way too loud though, so we can lower the volume of it. Okay, now we have this impact. So yeah, this impact, it has a lot of bass frequencies, which is not good in the drop because it will overlap with the kick and with the bass. So let's take a look at it and let's just put in a new EQ and delete all the low frequencies from the impact. And it will be more like a crash impact or whatever. Yeah, that works. Maybe lower the volume. Okay, now the important thing, the kick. Okay, so that's what I thought is happening. The kick is panned to the left speaker, which is just ridiculous. I mean, how did that even happen? So, it's not like panned in here or any of the effects, nor is it panned here. So I'm not even sure how that happens. Maybe it's the sample? I don't know. That's weird, but to fix it, we can go to Stereo Shaper and choose the mid preset. It will be in both speakers at the same time. So panned in the mid, which is way better right away. You never want your kick to be panned to the left or right. But I think we can actually just change the kick altogether. Now let's take a look at this though, this crash. Okay. So when you hear it to the mix, that crash is so bad. And the reason is because he extended the time in the time stretching. So it gets like distorted. It's not good. Never like extend the time on a crash. Usually it doesn't result in anything good. So we just right click it, press none. And that's the crash. That's way better. So yeah, let's hear how it sounds now, and we're gonna keep editing. Okay, I think I pulled back on the melody a bit too much, so let's bring it back. I want it to be more plucky, so I increase the volume of the plucky sounds and not the lead sounds. Okay. Okay, that's pretty good. Now I want to change the kick because it's too low and too quiet. So let's take a look at some of the packs we have. I know what you're gonna say, like not everybody has access to all these samples, but you really need just one, which is the Kashmir's pack. That should do well for a long time. But I'm actually working on a big sample pack that is aimed for producers who like to experiment with different genres. So there will be something for everybody, pretty much. There will be samples for all types of genres. So yeah, that pack is coming soon. I really hope it will bring a lot of value to the producers, and it will be pretty affordable as well. There will be no more complaining about not having samples, because this pack will have it all. Stay tuned. Anyways, but now let's check out some of the samples here and maybe just change it. Maybe this one. Okay, it's trimmed. Yeah, okay, let's just extend it. And I see it's trimmed here as well. Length, just reset, and reset the time. What is this? Let's not do that. Okay, still feel like this can be louder. So maybe we just put the ultimate. Actually, let's use transient processor and increase the attack. So what's next is just playing with the volume, you know? Okay, we have a limiter on the melody. Maybe we can have it not as obvious in there. Maybe some more reverb on the melody. Okay, one of the things I noticed in the second repetition, he adds the drums, which is good. I like this loop. Let's put it in the first repetition as well. For the effects, he has a bunch of them in there. And I think we can delete them again, because this just sounds good without the effects. There is no need for chorus or flanger or just all these EQs. I like that tom in there, and I like the clap, and it doesn't need to be edited. So yeah, sometimes it's just better to not edit some of the sounds. They usually are already pretty good. So yeah, it's sounding way better, I think, as it was in the beginning. Now we actually can differentiate between the chorus, the melody, the drums. Before it was all one big ball of sounds, but of course, still missing something. I would make the sound shorter in decay. How about sound reducer? Sue me for this decision, but I'm gonna put sound reducer in there, which is the ultimate mixing tool. But sometimes, you know, I know what sound reducer does, and that's exactly what I needed for this sound. It's just to make it a bit more fodder. Because it's like pretty thin. But if you add in, makes it a bit more fat. Yeah, I'm fat shaming the sound, but the sounds usually like it, so it's all good. In the world of sounds, being fat is a compliment, so yeah. Anyways, here's how it sounds now. Maybe I pulled back on these sounds too much as well. So what I prefer is tone it down a bit, and then if it's toned down too much, I just bring some of the sounds back up again. So yeah, I think that is our mix right there. Again, thank you for DJ Neutral for providing me with this track. As I said, there are some good things about it, there are some bad things. The good being the arrangement, the structure, that is pretty good, I like it. And also the chord progressions and the melodies are pretty good. Could use some improvement, but I actually like the vibe of the song, it's pretty happy and uplifting. But the mix was really bad, so if he wants to improve, I would definitely focus more on mixing. Maybe watch some mixing tutorials, mixing videos, and or just hopefully he can learn something from this video. Good build up. Anyways, now let's compare the two drops. So the last thing I want to show. So here is how the edited drop sounds. And here it is without any edits. Anyways, that is pretty much it for this video. Make sure to send your tracks to my email that is in the description below, and that way you get a chance to be featured on my channel as well, if you want to. Obviously, I'm not trying to put this producer down or whatever, but whenever I hear something is bad, I make sure to mention it, and whenever I hear something is good, I make sure to mention that as well. So hopefully I didn't like insult him in any way, and I wish him the best of luck in producing. So hopefully it keeps getting better from here. Anyways, thank you for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.